They're bound for the eastern states and they get me out of bed. The sound of people leaving is the sound that starts my day, and it always gets me thinking it could be me again someday. But I'm sitting in the sunshine in my big backyard, eating peaches from my fruit tree, and leaving just seems too hard. While I'm back home in Adelaide, yes, I'm back home again. Well, I'm back home in Adelaide. Yes, I'm back home again. Now, if you haven't been to the Hillbilly Hoot on a Monday night up in the Lind Reserve in Stepney, you should get up there one night. It's a live-to-air radio show with a lot of talented people playing there for free. You come along, buy a raffle ticket to pay for the cost of the show, and win a chook, watch some music. I've been doing it for quite a while, and when I first started, there was a bloke called Albie, an old fella. He used to come down and he would collect up all the empty bottles from around the place. And then after a while down there, I used to see him all over the place. And as I said, his name was Albie, and I eventually wrote this song called Collecting Albie. Albie collects our bottles and aluminium cans, then sells them down the depot for whatever he can. Albie in the movies down by the street, he picks up all the empties we leave out on the street. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Ba-ba-ba. I've seen him up on Main Street collecting after dark, and every Monday evening he comes over late at night to collect up all the bottles we'll leave out by the light. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. The bottle, so I guess the answer's clear. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Well, may your bag be full of empties and your eagle eye stays true. May the handles on your shopping bag never fail on you. May you collect up all the empties in the southern hemisphere, and the pile that they make go through the stratosphere. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. Well, way back in another world, in another time, I was working in the tax office. The only office job I ever had in my life. And I lasted there for a while. And after about 4 years, I rose to one rank above the bottom. And I was answering your calls on how to fill out your tax pack. Remember those days? And I'd sincerely hope that if you ever got the response on the phone line saying, Australian Tax Office, this is Don, you didn't listen to anything I said. But anyway, I used to share a cell there with a bloke called John Kelly. And he'd been there for quite a long time. And every morning he'd walk in and tear a page off his big, fat 3-year calendar saying, and then he'd say, 280 to go. He was counting down to his retirement. And I got out of there before John did, and I wrote this song called John Kelly's Calendar. John Kelly has a calendar and he's marked out all the days. 797 until his retirement day. The office has a window, I watch the girls go by. I see the buses grinding on and catch a glimpse of blue sky. I saw a daylight moon, but I was brought back to earth all too soon by another pointless meeting or one more stupid call. Some big shot down from Sydney supposed to motivate us all. And they sometimes ask me, why do I stay? I ask myself that question every single day. Sometimes we talk about it, John Kelly and I. Dream up ways to walk out and not even say goodbye. Maybe I could turn feral and grow veggies in the hills, or buy up some sort of franchise for my lawn mowing skills. And they sometimes ask me, why do I stay? I ask myself that question every single day. Ah, but I've got my reasons, like a year's got its seasons. A man has to do what a man's supposed to do. But I wonder what would happen if I believed I could fly. Would I take to the wing or come crashing down and die? Now we have a new album out. Well, it came out a couple of months ago, I suppose, called Dreams. And it just so happens I've got a few copies here for sale. We've got it on CD or on vinyl. And we'll do a song from that. We'll do all the songs from the album during the afternoon, but we'll do the last song. We finished the album, and we needed another 5 minutes of song, and so this one came about pretty quickly. But I think it's one of the best songs on the thing. So it's called "Where Are We Now." On a hillside, looking out across the sea. The moon comes over the horizon, it's smiling at me. The moon looks down and says, throw your troubles up to me. I'll park them on the dark side, and you can be free. I look up at the sky, I see nebulas and stars. I see the Milky Way, Jupiter and Mars. And I wonder about the future, how long can it be? Are we the only living planet in this giant galaxy? What is happening? I wonder what the future brings. I wonder where we'll be. Up in the sky, a flock of birds are flying out to the sea. But the island that they're flying to no longer exists. The island they're looking for is gone. across the sea. The moon comes over the horizon, it's smiling at me. I did a gig in Canberra a few months ago, and I've got another one coming up in a week or two. And sort of reminded me of this song I wrote quite a while ago when the band used to travel, the band I was in called the Bodgies way back. We'd play in Sydney quite a lot, and we'd go across the Hay Plains. And it's such a long, flat, empty area. But this song's called the Hay Plains Blues, but I have since discovered a cure for the Hay Plains Blues, and that's going across the Nullarbor Plain for 4 times. But anyway. I drove all the way to Sydney in the middle of the night. When I went through Penrith, it started getting light. In that narrow street in Newtown, outside that front door, finally got through to me. I couldn't do this anymore. So I turned around and drove back from where I came, fighting with the sun on that wide empty plain, with the Hay Plain Blues. Just drive on through, don't turn around, don't turn around. That was years and years ago. I tried not to think about it much. There are a lot of good reasons to fall out of touch, but I just got a call, so I'm going back again. This time I'm driving to farewell an old friend, with the Hay Plain Blues. Just drive on through, don't look back, don't look back. There's a lot of time to think out there. There's a lot of sky to see. An eagle drifted way up in the air, trying to find a tree. With the Hay Plain Blues, just drive on through, don't turn around, don't turn around. With the Hay Plain Blues, the Hay Plain Blues, Hay Plain Blues. I have to have a beer before I do the next song. Yeah, we stopped doing it for a while, but we started.
Oh, now it's back.
Yeah, that's back there. Back in fashion. I've had 3 combi vans in my life, ladies and gentlemen. And looking back now at how they all turned out, it was too many. And I'll describe why. split screen 1600 with double doors. Today it'd be worth 85 grand, maybe a little bit more. Going downhill you could crack 90 k's an hour, but coming back up again all you could do is dream about flower power. In my combi I broke down in every town between Adelaide and Melbourne. Sometimes I'd get through okay, but those days were seldom. I learned more than I ever wanted to about Dimboola when I took the engine out by the side of the road to get to the oil cooler in Dimboola. 30 k's from the nearest town, the engine starts making a knocking sound. The speeder goes crazy, starts spinning around. Don't worry about it, man, just put the pedal down in my combi. I drove all around the streets of St Kilda, making deliveries. That thing would jump out of gear every time the road got a little bit jittery. A friend up in Sydney, he got us a gig. It was a great little venue. This was gonna be big, but we dropped the valve the other side of Wodonga. So it looks like our fame in Sydney was gonna take a bit longer from Wodonga. Well, speaking of St Kilda, I was living there in the early 80s when the Bodges went to live in Melbourne, and my musical career was going so well that I took a job delivering groceries from the local supermarket. And St Kilda at the time was like the Laurel Canyon of the Australian music scene. We're surrounded by musicians from everywhere. James Black, you know, the keyboard player from Rockwiz, he was in Mondo Rock at the time. He was virtually neighbours. JJ Hackett, the drummer, both of them from Adelaide, he was living around the corner. Steve Cummings from the Sports, he was just up the road a bit. The bloke from the Models was up the corner. Renee Gayer was living around the street there. Never saw Renee Gayer, but every time we drove past there, everybody would say, "Oh, that's Renee Gayer's house," you know. So it's full of musicians, and Paul Kelly was up the road. And the other thing that it was full of was drugs, a lot of drugs in St Kilda, and that's probably why some of the aforementioned were actually living there as well. But I remember in one of my delivery days, this event happened that I've written about called Surprise Delivery, and every word of this song is true. That's not it, no, sorry. I turned my van into Hotham Street to make the same delivery on the same day of the week. I pulled up at the flats of number 5 and I heard a cry I remember all my life. Help me, she cried. I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried. I think my friend has died. I saw him there, soaked in sweat, lying although I'd never seen a body before, I knew that he was dead. Still I did my best to breathe some life into his remains, while she looked on and in desperation quietly called his name. Help me, she cried, I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried, I think my friend has died. And when the ambulance men arrived some minutes later, they took one look at his arms. One of them looked up, sadly shook his head. He said, sorry boy, but this one is dead. I went back to those flats the next week, and I spoke to the caretaker about the boy who she said had gone to meet his maker. She said his brothers came down from the country the other day and cleared all his things away. They put all he owned in the boot of a car. Then they drove away. Help me, she cried, I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried, I think my friend has died. Help me, she cried, my friend has died. Help me, she cried, my friend has died. Here's one we haven't done for a long time, off one of our earlier CDs, called The Leaving Song. This wire's getting in my way. Gonna get up early in the morning, believe I'll dust my room before the day is dawning. I'll be clearing out my room. One more cup of coffee, then I'll be gone. No one here to stop me. I'm moving on. Yes, I'm coming. I'll be home soon. The plane flies into LA Thursday afternoon. Wrote my landlord a letter I sent him off a check. Even though I'm leaving here forever, don't want to leave any debt. The kid next door can have my car. I've given him the keys. Only thing I'm taking with me is my guitar, some clothes and a few CDs. Yes, I'm coming. I've been gone too long. Yes, I'm coming. Singing a leaving song. Singing a leaving song. Now, as it seemed to be stuck on the same old stories. I was pretty sure everybody here would have heard about the story behind 5 Men in a Car. When the Bodgies started moving to Melbourne and Sydney, we'd do stuff like, this was back in 1981, 82. We'd do gigs here and then we'd travel over to Melbourne and we'd do 7 nights a week for 2 weeks in Melbourne. Go up to Sydney and do 7 nights a week for 2 weeks there and play in between. And, we'd do things like finish at the Mounsell Room in King's Cross at 3 or 4 in the morning, then hop into the van to drive back down to Melbourne for a gig the next night. And we'd go all over Australia, wore ourselves out. I've written all about it in a rollicking biography called This Could Be Big, 40 years at the dag end of the Australian music industry. And it just so happens I have a few copies here for sale, so see me at halftime or after the gig and we'll do a deal. 5 Men in a Car. Sometimes I'm asked to sum up the book, in a few words, so I just say 5 Men in a Car. 5 men in a car, not sure where we are, but we're going somewhere. We'll get there. It's 4 a.m. and we're still hours away. There's only trucks and us on this giant highway. 5 men in a car. 5 men in a car. Towns go by, they're just names. Refueling stops on our road to fame. We've been here before, maybe. Now I'm not sure, but it looks the same as the place before. Ooh, now it's my turn to drive. Ooh, it's my turn to drive. on, outside none drew. If we break down out here, not sure what we'll do. Roadhouse food, a near Gundagai, could be Horsham or hay, Lismore or Yass or Narrabri. Ooh, roadhouse food. Ooh, roadhouse blues. 5 penny in a car. $5 million in a car. Fly away. If I could fly away, I'd try today. There's not much here to lose. Still got 3 chords and the truth. So I'll fly away, fly away. Don't ask me why. It's too hard to say. I look to the sky every single day. I could still sing the blues. Ain't that the truth? So I'll fly away, fly away. If I could fly away, I'd try today. Don't ask me why. It's too hard to say. I look to the sky every single day. If I could fly away. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Well, way back in time when I was in 4th year at Nord High, so that would be about 15 years ago, I reckon. Yeah. I had a short affair with my first girlfriend. You know, hold hands. We went to the Catacombs Folk Club and got kicked out for having my first kiss in the club. And only lasted a short time, very innocent. We used to hold hands a little bit and that. And years and years later, I thought, I wonder what happened to Hillary, because that was her name. And, you know, as you do these days, you could Google Hillary, and there was a lot of information came up about Hillary. She was a mathematics professor, a higher mathematics professor at the Australian National University. And she was famous for coming up with a theory that only a few dozen people in the world could understand. And I knew that Hillary knew all about that sort of gear because I explained it to her in fourth year at Norwood High. The sad part of the story was, though, that the reason I could find out so much about Hillary was that it was an obituary, and she died some years before. The obituary also said that she had 2 kids, so I wrote this song called Note to Hillary's Kids. I don't know where you are, I don't even know your names, but I know you're out there somewhere, so I'll write this just the same. I trust this finds you well, I hope life's treating you okay. I know this comes out of the blue, but there's something I'd like to say. I just found out your mother died quite a while ago. Nobody told me, there's no reason I should know. But you see, I knew your mother in my last year at school. She was in the brainy class and I was a sporting fool. She took a shine to me, I've got no idea why. She was the first girl I ever kissed and the last to make me cry. I called her mine, it didn't last very long. She let me down gently, said it was time to move along. Jake. Well, I never went back to school, and then she moved away. I heard her name mentioned now and then, till I found out yesterday. You know, I still have a letter that your mother wrote to me, and it takes me straight back to that summer and love's mysteries. I'd like to let you know, but I'm not sure where to start, that a little piece of Hillary lives on in my heart. Put the wrong harmonica on. I'm walking along the foreshore, out by the beach, where all the real estate is out of reach. Joggers jogging by, riders riding high, they're huffing, puffing, shuffling, and they're all aiming high. Self-improvement is where it's at, but I don't think I can cope with that, 'cause I'm just an ordinary man. I'm just an ordinary man. everybody can see I've been around the block, and I'm just an ordinary man. I'm just an ordinary man. Quotidian, and you might find an excellent description of my state of mind. A close analysis of all the facts will prove to you I will have no lasting impact. I said to my girl, how was that for you? She looked me in the eye and said, I'll tell you the truth. She said, you are no ordinary man. Hey, we've got to give a shout out to Jake on the guitar, Jake Morrison. Eddie Morrison on the bass. Andy Priskonski on the drums. We'll finish up with a long and grueling song next, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll go back, come back and do some more. This one's called My Boss is an Idiot.
Even more long and grueling than the other ones, this one.
My boss is an idiot. His boss is too. They'll do anything they tell him to. Struts around the floor. Thinks he's very clever. That man is a genius. Said no one ever. My boss is an idiot. 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 He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about you. The only thing he cares about is when his promotion comes through. He struts around the floor. Thinks he's very clever. That man is a genius. Said no one ever. My boss is an idiot. 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 One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. My boss is an idiot. Oh, we'll be back on in about 25 minutes. See you then.